My thoughts on why you should introduce a man to your kids as early as possible before the first kiss. Number one reason, a dude you've been screwing is not going to be the same dude when you meet your kids. This is a foolproof way to fuck up a relationship. That's why so many single women have been through so many relationships. It's a protocol error in my book. I consider it to be the wrong approach. If you're in a relationship with a dude for months or a year and he hasn't met your kids, okay, I'm just being kind of extreme. Say you've been in a relationship for 2 months, 3 months. You're doing something with the man. There's some real good sexing going on. You have failed in introducing that man to your children at the right time. Because when you do, most of you, when you do introduce your children to that man, you're not going to be listening to them. At least not as well as you should be. Because you're wrapped up already. Let me tell you another thing about children you might not understand. When you introduce a man to your kids as your boyfriend or daddy or mommy's special friend or any such thing, and they saw no part of that relationship before that point, they feel cheated. They feel like you don't trust them. I'm talking about you little kids, 6, 7 years old. They feel like you just simply and partially replace them with someone. You don't understand how children work. Imagine someone you love, you're in love with, approaches you one day and says, oh, by the way, this is my mate. I love this person. Out the blue. Your feelings will be hurt. Now, I know it makes sense for your feelings to be hurt, and it don't make sense for your children's feelings to be hurt, but you don't understand children if you don't understand that their feelings are hurt. Most of them are going to act out against this new menace, this presence. They're going to have an attitude just because of how you introduce them. Now, the way I always introduce a woman to my kids, in most cases, they meet the woman before we get in bed the first time. Because my children see that men and women can be friends. Men and women can like each other, and then men and women don't like each other and move on. No drama, no type of stupidity. Children need to see that. You think your children need to see that you've got this one person and you never dated nobody else and you didn't do nothing because I'm so good of a mother. You are lying to your kids. No wonder they lie to you. And when a man first meets those kids, sometimes we can act a fool. We can act a fool trying to impress the kids. Sometimes we don't like the kids. Sometimes that's just how it is. We like you, but we don't like the kids. Now, a good man, a man who ain't there to waste his time, who ain't just trying to keep hitting it, he gonna let you know something wrong with your relationship. He might not say the kids right off because we know your reaction is, well, they my kids. Well then fuck you, because they my kids. And I don't care what you think about my kids. We know that's how you're gonna react, so we don't say it's the kids. We just stop calling in most cases, or we just stop dealing with you. You think it was you. It was you. It was your kids. Your kids are you. Your kids are you. You can ask anybody I've ever dated. You can ask anybody who knows my children, who's been around me in the presence of my children, who's been around my children. Ask any man or woman who's been around my children. Well behaved, extremely disciplined, stable minds, emotionally stable. Why? Because daddy is well behaved. Daddy has a stable mental state. Daddy is emotionally stable. I am mature. My children are born damn near mature, but they're still allowed to be children. Now, men, we don't like to see you insult your kids. When we see that, that's another reason to go, because we know if you can insult your kids, you can insult us. It's just that simple. We watch how you interact with your kids. If you have a funny, jokey interaction, you guys seem free of the drama, then it'll make us feel comfortable if that's the plan. But let me tell you, ladies, that waiting until a dude sticks around, you know that shit's not going to work. You know that shit's no barometer. You know waiting until you think a dude isn't gonna mess around or anything like that, is that when you introduce it to your children. But that don't work. Sometimes you're the one who break up with the man. You don't like the man. You might not like the way the man looks at your son when your son speaks to him. You might not like the way the man looked at your daughter when she walked out the room, as she walked out. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all got some sexy ass daughters. I'm just saying. Then again, you don't like the way the man looked at your 6-year-old daughter when she walked out the room. See, there's things you can see when a person's comfortable. That first date, come meet my kids, people are acting. They're acting because everything of what they're doing is riding on the line. But when it's only in its potential phase, you get more of a real person. This is your boy Cosmic. But this video is only going to Adrian. You're going to work on this. So this video is only going to you anyway. I ain't got to say this is Cosmic. You know who this is. I'll holla.